Late one foggy night, as the moon hid behind thick clouds, David boarded the last train heading out of the city. The platform was empty except for the eerie whistle of the wind, and the old train groaned as it slowed to a stop. David had missed his usual train and had no choice but to take the midnight one. He had heard stories, but he didn't believe in ghosts. The train was dimly lit, with flickering lights casting long, shadowy figures across the aisle. As he walked down the nearly deserted car, he saw an old couple sitting side by side in the back. They didn't move or speak, just sat perfectly still, staring straight ahead. David hesitated but brushed it off, thinking they were just odd late-night passengers. He found a seat a few rows in front of them and tried to settle in. As the train rattled along the tracks, David began to feel uneasy. He looked around and realized something was wrong. The couple behind him didn't seem to blink. They hadn't moved an inch since he'd boarded. Their clothes were outdated, their faces pale and expressionless. David's heart began to race. He glanced out the window to calm himself, but noticed the reflection of the couple, or rather the lack of it. They weren't reflected in the window at all. His breath caught in his throat. He turned around, and that's when he saw it. The woman's head slowly turning towards him. Her eyes were hollow, black pits, and her mouth twisted into a sinister grin. The man followed, his movements slow, deliberate, like something out of a nightmare. The train entered a long, dark tunnel, and the lights flickered violently. In the brief moments of darkness, David heard whispers, soft, eerie voices that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. He gripped the edge of his seat, sweat dripping down his face. When the lights stabilized, the couple had vanished. Panic surged through him. He stood up, heart pounding, and looked around the train car. It was empty, except for the echo of the whispers that still lingered in the air. Just then, the train conductor appeared at the far end of the car. David rushed over, stammering. There was a couple, an old couple. They were here, but they're gone. I saw them. The conductor, an old man with tired eyes, looked at him knowingly. You've seen them, huh? He muttered. Not the first, won't be the last. David frowned, confused. What do you mean? The conductor sighed, his voice low and steady. They died on this train years ago. Every night they return, looking for someone to join them. David's blood ran cold. He tried to ask more, but the train suddenly jerked to a stop. The conductor vanished, leaving David standing alone in the aisle. As the doors opened, David bolted off the train, not daring to look back. But just as he reached the platform, he heard the soft, chilling whispers again. We'll see you soon.